Hello, and welcome to Anime Dumpster Dive, where we spend our time going in-depth on an anime that has been considered trash by a community. We find out if it belongs in the dumpster or if it's a hidden treasure. I'm your host and tsundere, Jake H., and I am joined by my co-host and yandere, DJ,
That's me.
and my other co-host and kudere, Anthony.
What's a kudo?
That is me, but I don't know what that means. So.
Neither do I. It's just the only other dairy that showed up when I googled it.
What? What about tsundere?
I said
You can
I'm
hardly
the
even
tsundere.
know. Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Well,
Can't even...
yeah, but it's not like you could even know that, idiot.
It's not like I said that to you or anything. All right. This is our second episode, and to continue to give our listeners kind of a insight into our taste in anime, how about one of you guys start us off by telling me one of your favorite anime characters?
Goku. I picked Goku.
All
I
right,
want to be Goku
All right, DJ, why Goku?
because he wins.
Because he wins. He's our hero
I
archetype.
picked Lady J
Lady J.
Ooh.
from Valkyrie Drive Mermaid. 'Cause she's the
Ooh.
biggest titties out of any anime
Oh
character.
my gosh. Oh my gosh.
No, for real, I like Goku. He's a cool guy. A character I like legit like. I like Yuno. She's my waifu.
Yuno Gasai?
Yeah. Because everybody wants a girl that'll slaughter somebody for you, you know?
Bitches
The
gotta
ultimate-
die, you.
The
She's trying to
ultimate
come
dog
between
dairy.
us, Yuki. Bitches gotta die.
I love that translation too. That they did such a good job on that.
Let me pull up YouTube so I can play some of this fucking dub for you guys real quick.
Hold on.
While
Who
that's
else
happening,
do I love? I'm trying to think of someone that I actually really like. Like I like their characterization and stuff. Yeah, Vegeta's cool. Goku's cool. Yuno's cool. What other animes are there?
What other animes exist?
Oh, I like Victor Nikiforov.
oh, there you
Because
go.
I'm
now
going
we're
to
getting into it.
And
Now we're getting into it. It's the spirit. 2018
Team
Winter
JJ.
Olympics are going on.
All right, Anthony, how about you? Who do you... give me one of your favorite characters.
Scary Terry from Rick and Morty.
That's not an anime.
Oh,
That's
just
not made into
Rick and Morty is the best anime.
Rick and
What's
Morty
this
is the best
fucking shitty
animated
anime
series.
we watched called?
One of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
We were actually just talking about him. I have a little figurine of him as well. That would be Kirei Kotomine, the man with no
man.
direction or drive.
Frightens
he
me.
he doesn't know why he wants to win.
Typing.
And if you haven't
Yeah.
watched Fate Zero, please do go watch Fate Zero. It is so good. That's my recommendation. The shining light, the beacon of hope through our trudge through this absolute shit anime that we were about to talk about.
Has kind of a weak ending, Anthony. That
Shut
there,
up.
Fate Zero.
We are not discussing Fate Zero on this podcast.
Oh, it's
We
come
don't-
up.
we
It's
don't
come
get
up a couple
along.
of times. It's
That would be
come-
almost
it's
as bad as
couple of times.
discussing Terminator.
All right, so I'll finish off this introduction with mine. I'm also going to pick a character from the Fate series, but I'm going to pick Archer from Fate Stay Night.
Right on.
Just his character design, along with his motivation and just the way that his character is. I love that character. I love his interactions with Rin. I love his no nonsense with Shiro. Him and Rin are the best parts of Unlimited Blade Works.
Sorry to interrupt. You can't hear this video, right, friends?
If it's playing right now, I cannot.
Okay, I'm just getting it to the right spot here.
Okay.
I would say that
Perfect dialogue.
Gilgamesh is the best part of both series, but that's just me.
Mongrel.
I like Alexander
Anderson?
Hamilton.
Hamilton. No, Alexander the Great, right? Isn't he in
Yeah.
Fate Zero?
Oh, he
Scatman.
absolutely
I know
is.
that game.
What
I
is
played
that
that game.
actor's name? What is that actor's name that does
Kurt
him?
Russell. Russell Crowe.
That's Kurt Russell.
Isn't it? No. Who plays Alexander the Great in the movie? Isn't it like Jake Gyllenhaal or some shit?
No, it's Colin Farrell.
Yeah, Colin Farrell.
Yeah,
And his
Colin
mom's
Farrell.
Angelina Jolie, right?
I don't
Or something
No, I didn't
like
watch
that.
Alexander the Great.
Remember?
All right.
No, that's Troy.
Whoa,
That's true.
guys, we are straying from. We are about as far away from anime as we can be.
Thank God. Thank you, God.
All right.
Keep me there. Keep me
So
there. Keep me
excited
away
to
from
talk
this
about
pile
this.
of.
So let's go
Absolute-
ahead and let's go into our anime the podcast. Let me start out. Our anime that we're digging through today focuses on Takatsuki Tazuna, a young man who likes to fix things and one day meets a sleeping girl named Kiori
Yes.
and awakens her by holding her hand. They gain superhuman speed and strength and soon discover that they are handshakers and must
Handjobbers.
fight others in order to gain a wish from God. There's a catch though. If Tazuna lets go of Kiori's hand, she will die. Let's dive on into Handshakers. So guys, this is an original anime written by Hiroshi Kanazawa. It is brought to us by the studio Go Hands, who have worked on the K series and Princess Lover. It is directed by Shingo Suzuki and also Hiroichi Kanazawa, the guy who wrote it, who have both worked on the K series and Princess Lover. So this show is an original anime. There is no source material. And
Sounds about right.
it's made by this studio, like almost completely inside, written and directed by this studio that has done multiple projects together. Anthony, start us off with a spoiler-free first impression.
Okay. Without giving my opinion right now, my first impression of this anime, I can't.
Mine will be short if you want.
All
for
right,
me to go
let's go-
first.
Let's go with DJ. Let's go with DJ because I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can
Spoiler
do it.
free. It's bad. it's Jake. You outdid yourself. If your idea of anime you will love is duty free elevator music, like royalty free elevator music playing through the entire anime,
Oh, yeah.
then this is the anime for you.
Ever
it
liked-
does.
Have you ever liked gears or clocks, or you have a weird obsession with jazz music and you want to watch an anime that combines both of those two things?
Anthony,
Handshake
do
is
some
totally for
dramatic
you.
dialogue
I'd say my
so I can give you some soundtrack.
hold on. My spoiler-free first impression of it is, oh my god, my eyes.
Oh yeah, that too.
I was
Why?
gonna say that, but I was afraid I was giving too much.
The CGI was done by a guy who downloaded Blender yesterday.
No. I'm gonna stop you right there. The guy who drew all of these panels, he just learned Blender yesterday. And
No, I'm talking
guess-
about the CGI, not the art.
No,
the CGI, like the.
we haven't
chains
even gotten
shit.
there yet.
There's
Oh my
3
God.
layers in every shot if you guys look at it. Like,
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about the visuals really quick before we go into some characters. There's three layers to every shot. There's the background, which looks like someone went out and took pictures of locations. Then there's the 2D characters that are drawn and then photoshopped onto these 2D and onto these 3D locations. And then there's the bad CGI that is the weapons in this,
It's done by me.
done by DJ.
I'm not a CGI artist.
When it comes down to what I ultimately felt happened, this dude was browsing Reddit one day, and he was on our anime, and he's like, "Oh, look at this post. This post has a lot of upvotes. What is this?" And it says, "Anime characters in real life scenery." And he goes, "I could draw an anime just like that." And that's what happened.
That's every that was the first thing I noticed was along with the camera moving for absolutely no reason.
Oh, that too. The fucking panning shots, dude.
Yeah, it's like
Why?
let's
Why
pan
are we spinning around the characters at all times?
Oh yeah.
Let's pan across these characters who are all standing there that all look like they are placed in a real life location.
Right.
And
Like top-down wide-angle shots are something that you can expect to see often in this anime. Wide-angle lenses. Why would you ever use a wide-angle view in an anime? I have no idea. I don't want to see that.
Go ahead.
I mean, as far as like giving us an overall synopsis of the anime itself, like without spoiling anything. I mean, this is an anime about a kid who, just like Jake said in the intro, grabs some sleeping girl's hand and ends up getting thrown into an absolute shithole of just garbage plot, and then it reaches an end, and you go,
It doesn't reach an end. It doesn't reach an end.
It doesn't.
and I mean episode 12, and then you read episode 12 and you go, I want my 6 hours that I just binge watched this anime
Also,
back. I want my time back.
speaking of staying away from the spoilers, don't watch the opening.
Yep.
Oh, skip over it.
The opening.
Skip over it.
It spoils the whole show.
The opening
wish that I had
shows
the
you shows you the villains in order
In order.
of
and
when they
all
fight
their
them,
weapons.
and
Oh,
all their
yeah.
weapons. And so
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like, you look at it and you go, I've seen that character. Wait, what?
Oh, I know.
And
I
then,
know.
boom, character's a villain.
Some guy sits next to you while you're watching this anime, and he's got a stick, and the stick is labeled beaten horse, and he just smacks you with it every single minute, because anytime that you watch a scene, not 5 minutes, not even that, like not even 5 panels later, you're just hit over the head repeatedly, like, hey, did you remember this? Did you remember this information?
Hey, Anthony, did it mesh? Did it mesh?
Does it mesh? We can
Oh my
mesh.
God.
What?
I hate that word now. I hate
Oh my!
that. I want a word counter of how many. I want someone to make a video of how many times they say mesh.
The Aramanga Sensei, I told you I had a problem with. I said that. I've got a real fucking problem with this anime. I'm ready to start the spoiler
we
tag.
can't go into
now.
we can't go into the spoilers yet, Anthony. We have this full on
I'll tell you some
spoiler-free
stuff
discussion to go through.
that I like that's spoiler free.
All right.
I like they wear cool costumes. I like
They-
the clothes they wear. They're pretty cool.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I-
Pretty fashionable.
I like the detailed background characters. There's background characters that have a lot of work put into them, which is really weird.
Yeah, there's ancillary characters. There's a lot of people who pop up that have nothing to do with the rest of the thing. There is a lot of background characters that they spend a lot of time on. I like that as well. Yeah, I agree.
I'd say that standalone background panels, they were really pretty to look at. I mean, in a sense, if these background panels were part of a different anime, of a different style, then yes, I absolutely would have been floored to watch something like this. I think that in conjunction with how the characters are done, though, I just don't think it works.
Oh no, it's jarring.
Mhm.
You're kind of like you said, they're the anime characters in real life post, and it's kind of just like it's really weird. Let's go into some characters, guys. What do you guys think of the main character?
He's
Tasna?
pretty cool. He's pretty likable. He's not the type of main character that annoys me.
Agreed.
He's a good guy. Just tries to help other people out.
Right.
I like it. I like him.
the way he approaches the hand holding thing. It's like he's
Yeah.
told, "Oh, you can't let go of her hand or she'll die," and he goes, "Okay." It's
Right.
not, but she's a girl.
Right,
Oh, no,
right.
no.
That happens a little later, but
Yeah,
not
but
right
I mean
away.
that one kind of makes sense though, because they're in a bath.
Did you listen to? We're on the subject, so did you listen to the dub at all?
So for me,
I watched the sub.
the first episode was dubbed.
I don't know who did the dub, but take a listen to this dialogue, friends. Let me know if you can hear this. Can you hear that?
No.
Nope.
Let me play it a little louder. Oh, okay. Here, I gotta unplug my headphones, so I won't be able to hear you for a second. But so just listen to this.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
And the thing
You're
is,
not. Here, let me put the. Let me put it next to my mic here. Got it?
No.
no,
Can't hear it at all?
not at
Nothing.
all.
What?
That's because DJ's trying to demonstrate hot fucking garbage.
Sorry.
And that's what it sounds like. Don't watch the dub.
I believe Funimation did the dub.
Why isn't that working?
I believe Funimation did the dub. And from the sounds of it, DJ mentioned that the guy sounds like a standard anime protagonist, so I'm assuming that's Josh Grelle, who I love. I love Josh Grelle,
Don't
but
know.
he
Yeah,
is
yeah.
standard anime protagonist.
Yeah. I mean, as far as Tazuna's character is concerned, though, I think they did a pretty good job. It's not something like, I don't know, he doesn't really fit the mold, and I appreciate that. I definitely do. I definitely did not want another main character that was just going to sit there and whine and cry about being weak or insufficient. I definitely, to your point, Jake, I definitely like his resolve,
Yeah,
and then the way that he handles things. So, I mean, in that sense, yeah, absolutely. I think that individually, Tazuna's character is somewhat developed, and I'm sure we'll go into this a little bit deeper. But
We will.
I mean,
Okay, so yeah, there's that. We also have our secondary main character in Koyori.
Koyori.
Yeah, and for me, I enjoyed her. She seemed likable when she couldn't talk, and then she started talking, and she became a freaking like Mary Sue character, where it's like author inserts themselves as this character.
Oh yeah. She was the White Knight. She was
Can
the
you
White.
hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the scene where the doctor tells them that they have to hold hands in the dub. This is how they decided to go with the dialogue.
Oh, please don't play this.
If I go where?
To the ziggurat!
I've never heard of it.
No. You have to hold her hand. You can't let go of it. Koyori has finally awoken, and now that she has, you cannot let go of her hand no matter what. Because if you do, she'll die.
She'll die?
At that point, I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like it's got its elevator music going, ding, 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 which is the whole. It goes through the whole anime. Every scene, dramatic dialogue, sad dialogue, whatever.
Spoilers, man. Spoilers.
No,
No.
you have to hold her hand.
In the
Well, let's
I was
keep,
gonna say in the sub, it seems a little more dramatic instead of just going no. In the sub, he's like
Right.
no, like he's legitimately worried.
Right.
So let's talk about that character. Let's talk about Sensei. I have his last name somewhere.
Makahara.
Sensei
Professor
Makahara.
Elm.
Sensei Makahara was, I think, for me, he was going to be the savior of this of this
I
anime.
wanted him to shut up.
He was going to be the savior of this anime. That's what I wanted him to be, but he just turned out to just, as a character, if he was just gone, I would have been okay.
Oh, bullshit. He's the funniest part.
No.
You hear that line? He's hilarious.
Who else
You
would
know
push
exactly-
shumai?
Oh,
The
yeah,
most
yeah.
everyone's favorite Japanese treat.
No.
Pot stickers or little dumplings.
Have
It's
to hold
ridiculous. As far as, I mean, who would voice him in the English dub? Chuck Huber. This is a Chuck Huber type of character. I mean, think about it. In Sekirei, Chuck Huber voiced, again, a fucking nutty professor when it comes down to it. And he tried to fit this quirky, poppy type of, in-your-face character, and it just gets overbearing and absolutely tiresome when you're watching it. I don't like his character at all.
So that's our that's our three. I would put it as main characters. We have a series of other handshakers that they'll meet. We'll go into that in the spoiler section. Which
shitty name for fucking.
what'd you just say?
Not only is it a bad name for an anime, it's a bad name for what they do.
Okay.
Shouldn't it be called hand fucking holders?
Well,
Or like hand in hand, anything but handshakers? They're not giving each other handshakes.
so I had this thought.
Sounds like sex.
I had this thought almost immediately after he goes, "You guys are handshakers." It sounds like some Japanese guy who is like a Westerboo who's like really obsessed with Western culture, and he goes, "Guys, in like in America, they call this handshaking. How cool is that? It's like some guy over here going like, I named my cat Nico Kuro because in Japanese that means a black cat, but in Japan they're like, that's fucking stupid. You just named your cat what it is.
Exactly. And it's not even right.
It's not even
They're
right.
holding hands. They're not shaking hands. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Nice to meet
right.
you.
Right.
Nice to meet you.
What if it was a series about businessmen? And it was
Oh
called
my
Handshakers?
god!
It'd be
Oh my
so
god! It
much
would
better.
be so much better. That's it. Scrap the whole idea. It's about businessmen.
All right. So we talked about
No.
the name. We talked about the visuals. We
Have to hold her hand.
went as far as we can into the characters without going into any spoilers. So let's go ahead and start that spoiler section now. Okay. So the fuck is this fucking
Are we
show?
Are we going to
Not
go?
much
What do you
happens.
want to do? Do you want to
Just
do
spoil.
episode at a time? Because literally, this is probably one of the worst anime I have ever watched, ever. And I thought that we were going through the ringer with Aramanga Sensei.
Yeah, Jake
And-
outdid himself.
Holy shit!
He started
Within
this off easy.
within the first episode, okay, this is my favorite part about the first episode, not to skip ahead or anything. Tazuna picks Kiyoyori up out of the bed, and as he's doing that, in the English dub, he goes, "Oh, so you cannot walk. Okay, don't worry, I've got you." And they start running down the fucking hallway. Okay, then they reach a scene later on in that episode where she's standing. He's
Wait.
like, "You have to get out of here. Motherfucker, you just said she can't walk."
Wait, he
What?
says that in the dub. He
He
says she
says
can't
that
walk.
in the dub.
In the
Yeah.
sub, he's just carrying her.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't remember this.
That's
Was it when I was laughing hysterically because the
Probably.
guy that just
Prob-
said the worst dialogue ever?
Oh, yeah.
ever
Oh, yeah.
written?
I mean, it's tough for us to talk, me and DJ, to talk about it because we watched the dub. We watched the shitty dub. I know that what I gathered from the dub within the first opening credits, the main character's talking over all of this
Yeah.
other information, and like you, just as you said too, you witnessed the protagonist. I mean, the antagonist. You witnessed the antagonist of that episode within the first couple of scenes, and
Yes.
that's
Best antagonist ever.
Let's talk about this, like, really quick. The structure of not only the episodes, but this entire season. So the episodes start, like, in the middle. And they're like,
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
don't.
It's really weird.
and then they
Right.
flash back into a non-needed flashback. Like, nothing important leads to this. Like, nothing they do in the flashback led them to this. It wasn't like
Right.
they got into
Right.
a fight, and then it's like, oh, Kiori and me refused to hold hands, and then
right.
you find out why. No, it's like, oh, me and Kiori in a fight. How'd they get here? And you're like, why did we need a flashback to that? Why
It's also terribly like explained. He goes, "How did I get here?
yeah, no,
We were just walking along," and it cuts back. It's like just do the cut, just cut
Right.
back.
Right. I mean, like in standard structure, like if you're thinking about cutting ahead of time or like showing a really high intensive scene, for instance, I mean, you'd show a couple of episodes in a row and then episode 4. It cuts to the middle where you're already in between the climax. But I've already learned about these characters. I already care about these characters. And therefore, this type of situation that these characters are now in causes me to be like, oh shit, what happened? Let's go ahead and watch the entire show. But for this to do it every single episode, I mean, except for the last episode, for this to do this at every single episode, it was just ridiculous. And quite frankly, it was too busy. I found that every single scene absolutely way too busy to follow.
It resolves that so fast too. It's like, let's flash back, and they're like, we were walking, and then we saw them, and then it cuts back to the
exactly.
scene. It's like,
so
okay,
the
why was
yeah,
that there?
The flashback wasn't
Yeah.
needed. Just show them walking, show them getting into the fight. And
Oh, yeah.
then
Yeah.
the structure of the season seemed to go 2 episodes of plot, followed by
Right.
an episode of filler that
Right.
led to the next 2 episodes of plot.
Right.
The structure of that was jarring because it was like, okay, plot. Oh, okay, downtime, and then plot, and you're like, wait, why?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why not just go
Plot.
plot the entire time?
Right.
Like, why do I have to find out? Why do I have to watch Kiori learn to cook because 3 cooking students broke their arms training in the
That was
mountains?
great. That was great. There's some
terrible.
There's some-
That was terrible.
there's some funny moments. If I would recommend this
No.
anime as a funny anime, especially the dub, because of the bad voice acting. Not bad, but the awkward voice acting at some moments, and funny scenes like that. She goes, they were cooking and they all broke their arms. And then later the girl goes, I knew cooking in the mountains was a bad idea.
I was like, what were they doing? Punching rocks? What
I know.
were they doing?
I mean, in some senses, the writers were trying way too hard. Episode 2, I wanted the bath scene to be hilarious. Tazuna goes through all that crap in his head. He's like, oh my God, please, officer, please don't arrest me right here. She was just taking a bath. I have to hold her hand, blah, blah, blah. Like, he goes through that entire scene. I wanted it to be funny, and I think in a different situation, I would have laughed. But I didn't.
I didn't think that part was very funny.
That part was not funny.
Yeah,
the delivery was not good.
I don't think any of the
intended
humor hit. Like, unless that chef joke was like that chef joke. If that like, I guess the intended humor.
It absolutely was a joke. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I got disoriented. I think the intended humor in the downtime episodes hit because that entire episode was like downtime. But then the humor in like the serious episodes was like similar to this entire show, jarring.
Yeah. Right.
Where it's like you gotta fight. Like you gotta
fight to survive.
You gotta fight to survive, and it's like, oh, those handshakers that you fought, and then it fucking hard cuts to chains and whips excite me, like in the hospital, and she's like, Ray, oh my God, Ray. He goes, they're fine. I'm like, was that a joke? Was that supposed to be a fucking joke? Because that was jarring as fuck.
I like them. They're my favorite.
Of course, they're your favorite.
She's my second favorite character. That girl that gets tied up by chains and with the big boobs.
As bad as
as
bad as the weapons are in the show, the chains are the worst. The chains are the worst CGI. And they hit you out of the first episode, scene.
Oh, yeah.
Here's some CGI chains, and
you're like,
oh
what
my God.
the fuck is this?
I know.
The dragon hand is the worst.
Oh, dragon hand was great.
But the chains are bad.
I'm gonna go with basketballs.
Oh, the ball. I paused it at the perfect frame because I was laughing. I had to take a note about make a joke about the 3D basketball. I paused it at a frame. Her hand's in the middle of the ball. Like they couldn't animate that right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The fucking noise they decided to put when those things bounce was the worst
basketball.
noise.
It sounded exactly like a basketball.
We keep getting off. We're getting off track with what Anthony wanted to do with going by episode.
First episode, Lily's in the first episode. She's my favorite character.
Yeah, we're introduced to Lily, who's the who I guess is the closest thing to like a main side character. And dear God, did this designer for her character not know how a human body looks like?
Hello, Lily.
Oh yeah. I love the physics in this first episode. He was like, you know what? Let's put in some tip bounce. Crank it up to 11 as well.
What if
tip
we
bounce is all the way up.
basketballs
The tip bounce meter.
with helium? And someone's like, you can't. And he goes, but what if we did?
Right.
That's how I want her tits to look.
I want a Blender animation of how this fucking girl listens to music normally. She just puts in her earbuds and then pushes her chest out and then jumps up and down.
I love it.
Who the fuck dances like that?
I wish I knew her in real life.
And we're also introduced to our first opponents, who are Ray and then Girl, because I don't think they ever say her name.
Yeah, Break and...
No, their nicknames are Break and Bind.
Yeah, Break and Bind.
But
they're BDSM, and he
they're...
wraps... She has similar breast physics to Lily, and they wrap her in chains, and then he steps on her, and she's like, ah! And he's like, scream harder so we can win. And she's like, ah! And he's like, keep those screams sweet, baby. It's awesome.
The thing is, he, like, in that first episode, he comes off like he's torturing her. But, in the second episode, it's like, no, she likes this.
Yeah, no. She's into this.
They're part of a team.
They're a team.
Yeah.
Like,
they have a lot. They mesh really well.
They mesh. They mesh. I finally, when I was taking notes for the show, my notes get smaller because I make a promise around episode 4 to stop making notes about how bad the show looks.
Oh yeah.
And so my notes are only 5 notes per episode.
Oh yeah. as far as like going into in depth, like we've already touched on what I figured the animator did, because honestly, that's how it feels. It feels like he was just browsing the internet and he's like, this picture's cool, let's just animate that. Oh yeah, and then put our characters right in front of it. Every single scene is way too busy. There is so much movement going on just every single part of every single scene that's very difficult to follow.
They're
And
like,
the
how about
biggest-
we put in 100 gears in this scene?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And we'll spin them all around.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the camera will spin with them. It's like, no.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm tired. I was tired of the camera constantly moving. It was like the director thought, "Hey, people don't like that stationary camera. People don't want to see what's happening on screen. They want to be moving. They want to run.
I
They
want
want
to
to
feel
shake
like
their
I'm there.
hands."
Have you seen
Yeah.
Cloverfield? I want to be like that, but in an anime. You know that movie that made people motion sick? Let's do it like that movie.
Maybe like
And-
50-something%. I think it was less than that on
sometimes-
Rotten Tomatoes.
Sometimes I'll grab the camera and I'll spin it. I'll spin it like this.
What
And
was
then,
the-
And then there'll
Oh,
be
my
a
God.
360 motion, and people will be like, "Whoa!" No.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The
You know,
ziggurat's too busy too. Like the
Oh, the
walls
ziggurat.
are like,
Oh my god.
you know, the sky in Bikini Bottom.
Yeah.
Let's make the walls look like that, but if it was spinning really, really fast,
The
that's what I want.
Adding on to this, like since the ziggurat is the dimension that they're transported to when they fight, the only time you see that crazy ass motion, like crazy ass background, is when other crazy ass shit is happening on screen.
Yeah.
Right.
So
right.
you're just your senses are overloaded with constant motion and constant everything everything happening that you're like, what the hell am I watching? I'm just
Oh, yeah.
at this point
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
watching a blur.
The walls turn into this like background spinning flower stuff, wavy stuff that if you like watched a video of it, you would make you throw up.
Yeah.
And then they add in 100 gears and 40 chains into the scene, and then spin the camera 360 degrees around the characters 14 times, and you're like, "This is not
Right.
This is not what I want."
Don't forget that wide angle type of view. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's used in anime often. It's often used to portray a character who is, for instance, Beelzebub in ReZero. Like when they focus on him, they take a wide angle approach straight from his forehead. Like it paints a picture that shows that this character is absolutely insane.
You
But
mean
when
like a
they do it-
fisheye lens, right?
Exactly, fisheye. That's the best way to put it. Wide angle fisheye type of lens. But when they do that consistently throughout the anime, it honestly, when I was watching it, the first few scenes, I honestly had to stop myself and go, "Am I high? I'm not high. This is exactly how this anime looks. Okay, I'm not high."
I think they're trying to like make you feel like the ziggurat's like another dimension by warping the camera like that, but it's just another thing that makes you feel sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can have weird camera angles.
Yep.
You can have a weird background. You can have weird CGI weapons, but you can't have all three. You can't do all three
Right.
At once.
at once. It's too much. One thing I do want to say, something that I thought was good. I do think that some of those horrible CGI weapons looked cool. When you said people who have a watch fetish would like that, I took offense to that because I thought Single Gear, his Nimrod,
Yeah.
was really fucking cool. And
I
had
thought it
a-
was pretty cool too.
Had a lot of potential. There's parts where he stabs into the ground, he's riding it, and you're like,
Yeah,
that's a cool idea.
They got really creative
See,
with how the
where-
gears worked.
See,
Like, he stuck it into the ground and they spun and it made him move, or he had the roller skate ones, or he had the hand gear that made him move fast. They were creative with how he would use that weapon to make himself be able to, other than just cutting people with them. Like he could do all these different things.
I would 100% agree with you if that didn't tie into my next point, that no matter what scene we were looking at as far as combat goes, every single combat scene or fight scene was either too clunky or it was done too lackadaisically. Like it was just lazy to me. Like I get that the weapons were kind of cool and I did like some instances of them, but I felt that was just the animator relying on laziness. I felt that it was a lazy design.
I'm gonna,
Like the Michael Bay explosions.
Exactly. Like
I'm gonna actually take the side of the anime on here. I think the fight choreography was great. I think it's lessened because while they're doing flips, the camera's doing a flip. So you're like, oh, what are they doing? So it's like,
yeah.
you can't gain this experience. Like there's a part where she's running on a wall, in
Right.
episode 3,
Right.
Kurizuru.
The blade chick.
Oh yeah, the blade
we got Dagger and Blade, and Dagger's running on the wall, and you can't tell she's running on a wall until the camera moves.
Right.
And you're like, oh, she's running on a wall. Why did it look like she was just running normally? Oh my god.
I suppose that's my point of the fight scenes being too clunky. Like even not to be meticulous, but it's the characters' movements, like how they move. Like you would expect, to take heed from some of the more popular animes right now, My Hero Academia, or for instance, One Punch Man. Or I don't know, how about the greatest running fight anime of all time, Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super, currently right now. When it comes down to the fight scenes, like I understand that they all had their little niche.
Yuri on Ice.
The fluidity of Yuri on Ice. That's the point. That the characters' movements were just too clunky and.
Well, they hit themselves into a corner with their art style. Their art style wouldn't mesh very.
Ew.
Their art style wouldn't mesh very well with the way that it's animated. Like, think about in Dragon Ball, to demonstrate speed, they're kind of given that line motion where their
after
hands,
image. Yeah.
You couldn't do that in this art style because you just think that it was an animation error because that's just how it looks.
Oh yeah. I mean, in that instance, yes, absolutely. But I mean, like they do demonstrate Tazuna and Koyori moving fast by just showing a puff of dirt.
Well, no, they demonstrate them moving fast by moving the damn camera fast.
That's very true. That's
You're
very
like,
true.
They're over here now, and it's like, what happened?
Yeah.
Did they move? Like, did they move fast, or was it the camera having a stroke again?
Oh yeah.
I thought the fight scenes were cool, but definitely ruined by the camera work.
Yeah, I think the choreography is
except
great.
for the unnecessary explosions.
Yeah, there's some bad explosions.
Sometimes it's just like this rock hit the ground. You're like, what? Why?
Okay.
This guy steps on the ground. And those explosions look so bad too. It just makes it even worse.
Also, every fight that Kiori and Tazuna are in, except for the first and last fight, is due to their opponent's own incompetence.
I can see that.
Well, the first fight against Dagger and Blade, Blade's like, "I'll fight you 1-on-1 as a man," and you're going, "No, you guys are on a 2v1. You kill him, beat him up. 2 versus 1.
You have the advantage here.
Then against Uromanga Sensei genders reversed.
That's true.
Brother goes, "I got this. Give me your cards." And it's like, no. How about both you guys have cards? How about you use them together?
He uses her cards because he runs out of his.
Yeah, because he kept using all of them.
Because he was out of his own incompetence. He ran out of his own cards.
With that fight scene contains the best CGI in the whole show, the Dragon Hand.
Oh, please don't remind me. Please don't remind me.
And then fight against Lolita.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Fight against Lolita. She goes, "I gotta fight him 1-on-1," and manager guy is just like, "No, I'm here too.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't fight him 1-on-1.
Terrible idea.
Terrible idea. They don't do it." And she's like, "No, I gotta." And it's like,
that's when they mesh.
When they full on mesh.
Like, I'll save you.
All right. So going back into order, we meet.
That should be episode 4.
Yeah, 4 we meet Chizuru. 3 they meet Chizuru. And
did we
Hayate.
skip Lily and her little brother that she wants to bang?
No, that's the episode after this. Okay. We meet Chizuru, who's the lolly 30-year-old.
Yep.
Yeah. It's okay though because she's 30.
I liked her because she's classic tsundere.
Yep. Yeah.
Totally.
She's totally tsundere. I like her.
Which is annoying, but okay.
DJ hates him.
And she's known that guy forever. Why would she be so mean to him? Why would she not?
Because he's her subordinate. All right, she can't be nice to him because it's Japan. Because it's oh no, I like the person I'm a boss of. Better be a dick.
This is how this.
And he's such a nice dude.
Works.
He's like, you know what? I'm just here to help out. I just want to make sure everything's easier for you and make sure you have a good life. And she's like, I fucking hate you. Shut the fuck up. And then over here, she's like, I love you so much.
I like in the car when they're sitting there and they're like, we have to help him out. Like, yeah, but they took away our chance at our dream. I'm fucking pissed. I like that part because too many animes have them beat a person and then that person has no ill will towards them.
Right.
They're just like,
right.
we're buddies. And that one, they're like, well, you know, it makes sense because if we would have won, we would have killed a child.
Everybody takes the Vegeta thing, and then they don't see why. They don't take, they don't see what makes Vegeta work. Like they're like, ooh, we'll make the first enemy they fight into their best friends for the rest of the time, and it'll be just like Dragon Ball Z. It'll be great. No, Vegeta sticks around because he wants to fucking kill Goku for a long time.
Also, it takes Vegeta a whole saga.
He's not his friend.
Right.
It takes Vegeta a whole saga to join the Sea Fighters. He's an antagonistic force during the Namek saga. All of Namek.
3 sagas later, he's like, Babidi's like, hey, I'll give you the power to defeat Goku. And he's like, well, shit. And he just goes right with him. He's like, absolutely, I'll do it. To kill Goku, let's do this shit. That's my life dream. And they're supposed to be friends by then.
Yeah. And so we're introduced to them, and they become kind of a reoccurring cast.
Yeah.
They're like, come eat in my restaurant.
All right, next...
asshole boyfriend guy.
Next, we meet. The next episode, we meet the next group of handshakers who we've already met one, and that's Lily.
Best character, Lily.
And we meet Lily's handshaker partner, which is her little brother, who she clearly has an attraction to, and it's messed up.
And then later goes, I have an attraction to my little brother.
She even asks Kiori if it's wrong, and I'm going, Lily. Yes, it is.
Yes,
her wish to God is that they're not related, so she can.
That's
gonna
gross.
love it.
That's gross.
I wish I was her little brother.
That's gross.
That made me go, huh? Maybe Earl manga wasn't bad in that sense. Because they're blood related. They're blood related.
They are.
And like to our point, I just want to give ourselves a pat on the back. Because we finished it. We finished the whole fucking thing and didn't give up by episode 5.
She at one point in this episode tells Kiori that she oh, my brother's getting taller, he's getting more muscular. I even peeked on him in the bath. And you're like, Kiori, no. I mean, Kiori, run away from her.
She's like, I'm in love with my brother, and you're like, oh, that's nice. Like, she's in love with him. Like, it's probably like a tsundere thing. Like, she loves him, and he doesn't really talk to her. He's like a thing. She's like, I'm really in love with him. He's been getting taller. He's muscular. I picked him in the bath, and I'm like, oh, it's that type of love.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
At least they don't hide it. At least they are very upfront about it.
And then later when she's in his room, he's like, why are you in my room? And she's like taking her clothes off almost. And then she bends over and she's like, I hurt my finger. Come help me.
The next episode is the actual fight with Lily and her brother. And we found out, it pisses me off too, because I had talked to DJ and I had just defended the weapon designs to this. And then I watched this episode and their fucking weapons are cards.
It's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Master, Jake.
And I go, and then there's that point where they're shuffling their cards, and Tazuna is just staying there, and I type this: stab them while they're playing with their cards.
You'll never defeat me.
Instead, you should have wrote, "It's time to duel. It's time to duel." That's what you should have wrote.
Wait, I have a sword though, and then I just walk up and stab you.
Another thing that this anime does that I have to compare it to another thing. There's this anime I watched called Chihaya Furu. And in Chihaya Furu, the villain of the week is introduced, and you get their motivation. Like that same episode that they're introduced. And so you're like, okay, all right. This show tries that, but bad. I still don't understand some of the other characters' motivations.
She's like, I want to get our wish so I can have sex with my little brother.
Yeah, she's like that. And then
you're like, that's not a very good wish.
And then Blade and Dagger's wish was like, we want to make everyone equal. And it was like, but why? Because both of you were bad at your jobs and people figured out?
Then more people want to buy cocktail corn?
Yeah.
And then you guys quit did they quit those business jobs and become like restaurant managers? I don't know. I have no idea who their characters
So
are.
they work for the
Oh
restaurant.
my
They went
gosh.
to the
Yeah.
school to sell their cocktail corn at the cafeteria.
No, but I mean the company that they were working for in the flashback that they were, I think, fired from.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
Yeah, see, that's
What the fuck is cocktail corn?
I don't know, but I did want to try a parfait with candy corn in it. I'll give the anime
They have
that.
this restaurant where they serve cocktails and corn dishes, I'm assuming. I don't know if that's a thing, but
Yeah.
it doesn't sound very applicable to make a whole restaurant out of that.
From my understanding, it was cocktails and like fancy desserts that involved candy corn.
Right.
Oh, I thought it was like, this is our corned beef. This is our corn on the cob.
Those are only 2 dishes.
Those are our only 2 dishes.
Okay, one part I did love in this episode is after Brother Chan, or whatever his fucking name is, uses
Brother John.
uses her last card and fails miserably with it. He looks at her and he goes, "Sorry," and Tazano punches him in the face with his gear hand. Just punch, and then I'm like, all right, cool.
She's my favorite.
Oh my gosh.
I'm surprised we got into 6 episodes and this far into the podcast without mentioning it, but the fucking ED, the ending track, is awful.
Oh, it's bad.
It's so
I listened to it the
slow.
first time, then skipped it every time after that.
Yep, every single time.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's move on to our next downtime episode, episode 7, where we get the school festival because fuck you.
This one's hilarious. It's not bad.
We get the chefs who break their
This chef who breaks their
All-
They're cooking on a mountain.
all 3
Yep.
of them break their right arm. I don't know how. I'm a cook. I don't understand that.
Have you ever cooked on a mountain,
I
Jake?
guess I
Yeah,
gotta
but
go to
have
the
you ever
mountains and
cooked on a
train.
mountain?
I gotta go to the mountains and train.
Oh, seriously.
Oh, and so
You're missing out.
one of the fucking broken arm girls has the fucking gall to tell Kiori she can't cook because she doesn't have the passion for it. And I'm like, bitch, you have too much passion if you're breaking your right arm in the mountains trying to cook.
That's the only real way to become a chef, Jake. Is
Also, for some reason, chains and whips are there.
Right?
Just gotta bring him back to the best
It's a
characters.
slice of life type of
Second
it's
best
a
character.
shitty slice of life episode that they do absolutely horrible.
They come back. Chains and whips come back every so often as kind of like glorified cameos. And they're like, remember
Right.
the first episode? And I'm like,
Right.
no.
It's always in a sense where like they turn and they look and they're like, "Oh, it's him."
I'd see him and I'd be like, man, I hope he ties her up again.
That slice of, I thought there was this one sequence which was oddly well animated, and because the camera didn't fucking move.
Oh yeah.
It's when Kiori, when they're like, "Yo, you know how to cook?" and she starts doing the fucking like spinning the knife and spinning the cutting board, and he's like, "What videos has she been watching?" That's really well animated because it's a still shot, and I can look
Yep.
at it and I know
Yep.
what's happening.
Or like
Oh,
the
yeah.
scene
Oh,
with
yeah.
the parents when he first brings her home. That scene's not bad either because they're not moving the fucking camera all around and shit.
Yeah, they're just talking.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you think, okay, yeah, talking, the camera doesn't need to move. No, in the first episode when he's talking to somebody, the camera's constantly pan left,
It's
pan
spinning,
right,
yeah.
angle, upside down shot, and you're like, why?
Right. I mean, there are some, scenes throughout most of these episodes where the stills are the redeeming quality, but the the freaking camera angles just take that away from the rest of the anime. It's a few good stills in an absolute shit
You good man.
collection of just terrible camera angles, and that's
You
all
can't-
I have to say. And
can't
that's all I
handle
have
the
to
truth.
say about
That's
that.
all I have to say about that. So
Can't handle the truth. I think.
we
For
are
the sake of not
all right.
causing myself to have.
But who ordered the code red?
So the next part, we get introduced to I think DJ's favorite handshaker couple, Kodama and Hibiki, the Lalita quoter, like
No.
famous Lalita shit poster, and Star Wars kid.
No, they're not my favorite. They're not.
They're
My
not-
favorite is
Yeah, I know.
Number
I
one-
was joking.
Yu-Gi-Oh's sister, Hot Lily. Number 2, Andy Milonakis.
Which one is
The
Andy?
girl that's 30 but
Milonakis?
looks young.
Oh, okay.
That's Annie
Yeah,
Milonakis.
Samuel. Yeah, so we get
No, they suck. She's the worst one.
I hate Kodama. I hated Kodama.
Yeah.
She's like, dance, dance, sing, dance, dance, sing.
And they're like, we can't beat her. She's too strong.
This also introduces the first aspect of the show that defeating handshakers makes you stronger.
Yeah, so you go kill all the weak ones, and then you get to meet God.
Yeah, it was like oh, like because when they talk to Sensei, he's like, oh, they must have defeated quite a bit of other handshakers, and I'm like,
Right.
what does that mean? He goes, it means they're stronger now. I'm like, they've beaten like 3. They should be
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
decently strong now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then it also hands them their first loss, like where they have to escape, which I thought was cool. I was getting really tired of them just beating their opponents by sheer willpower or their own opponent's incompetence.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And then
Did you hear the guy? Well, I guess it's God in the dub.
Mm-hmm.
He's like almost Mufasa.
Oh yeah.
Simba,
Yeah.
Simba.
you deliberately disobeyed me.
He's like, you who have taken the handshakers, you are destined. And it's like, what? What? And he sounds kind of drunk a little bit.
Yeah.
He's like, you, the destined one.
You who
Yes.
have been chosen.
The chosen, destined.
Well, seeing how
handshaker.
something that also was introduced in this episode was that you can run away from in the ziggurat.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Why-
Right. Or escape. I thought
yeah,
that you
why
He
had
says
to-
that way earlier. Professor Elm says that way earlier.
Well, yeah,
Professor
he says that he says there's a way to dispel the ziggurat if everyone involved doesn't want to fight.
He also
Right.
says if you get 10,000 yards away from your opponent, or 100,
Oh, okay.
the
Does he
1,000
really?
yards away from your opponent. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Shows how much
Because I was
paying
like,
attention.
as soon as I heard it, I was like, well, they're going to do that one time.
No.
And then when it happened, I was like, well,
There
look
it
at
is.
that. They fucking
Oh,
did
yeah.
it.
Yeah, and so they get handed their first loss, and then we get treated to 5 minutes of Kiori laying on Tazuna crying while the camera spins around.
Right.
It's the
right.
Goku regeneration part of the anime.
On this episode
No,
of Spinning
no.
and Crying, the anime. I fell
I know, next
asleep
time.
during that part. That was
Oh, yeah,
it was
yeah.
so long.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and then we get into the next episode where Tazuna's an asshole to his parents. He's telling
Right.
everyone to shut up. But I like that. I like that he is deliberately he is shaken up from the loss, and so he's angry. He's mad that he's not strong enough. He's not sitting there going, "I couldn't do it." Punch a wall, cry. He's going, "All right, I didn't win that fight. I have to win that fight, or Kiori dies. All right, Kiori, let's go." And Kiori's like, "I
He
don't want
wants
to do it."
meet God, God dang it.
Right. Right.
And Kiori's like, "I don't want to go." And he goes, "Shut up, Kiori. You don't know what you want." And you're like, okay, this is interesting because I kind of like Tazuna more because he's human. He's not like constantly like, "Oh, hey,
Right.
cheery."
Right. Right.
Uh,
I mean, how many times at this point in time? We're in episode 8 now.
we're in episode 9
And-
now.
Episode 9 now. We're
I
on
know.
episode 9. And I just want to see if anybody else was taking a tally of how many scenes were reused.
A shit ton. A literal shit ton. In just the card game scene in
Yep.
like episode
Oh, yeah.
5,
Oh,
it
yeah.
is used a shit ton. Like where
Oh, yeah.
they show him saying, "That's your dead end."
Right.
It's way too many times.
About
Why
1,000
would you
times,
animate
yeah.
something more than once? I mean, you just...
It's that's oh god. My biggest problem with this fucking anime is how lazy, how just absolutely lazy it is.
When we go into the end of this, I don't think it's lazy at all.
Really?
I don't think you keep saying lazy, and that's not how I would describe this anime as lazy. I would not describe it that way.
I
think
hope
it
that it's
tries
worse
too
than
hard.
lazy.
I think it
Okay.
tries way too hard. I think there's so much effort put into this anime that it just was counterproductive. Like, we'll go further into that. Let's just
Next is Professor Birch,
Hold
right?
on,
Well,
no.
they beat Lolita.
Well, they beat
Yeah.
Lolita, and this is where I start to like her. Because I thought she was just annoying. And then you find out
right.
that's her character. That's her facade she puts on. She's not this really great idol. She's not this pompous asshole who quotes things on purpose. Like
That was
quotes
so
them.
fucking
Right.
annoying.
Right.
That was so fucking annoying.
She's this failing idol who has a notebook of inspirational quotes that keep her going. That she has her one fan is her manager, and she's like, and so you're like, oh, okay, this character, there's so much depth to this character, and then the show's like, hope you like that, because we're never gonna do that again.
Yeah, if they would have like given that to you earlier, it would have made that fight so much better because like you like her a little bit too, and you're like, oh, I don't want to see her lose.
That's
Like
how
with Lily.
they make every character likable after their loss, and you're kind of like, show this scene before they lose.
Right. Some sort of character development before every single character is introduced would have been at least slightly nice. I at least, not to bring up an old point here, but I at least want to know what this character's drive is to win. And what?
It's to have sex with her brother, Anthony.
Then we get into our next downtime episode because plot down.
Filler, yeah.
We get into our filler episode in episode 10. And I don't even remember what happens there because
I don't even remember either.
I think they go on a date. Oh, they start working. They start working.
Oh,
at
yeah.
place.
Yeah,
In
they
the
get
restaurant.
the job. Oh, yay.
Yeah,
And they're the best because they have such good. They mesh so well.
I want to point out too, working in a kitchen. If you had to constantly work with people who are holding hands, you'd be pissed off. You'd be annoyed.
Mad.
You'd be like, move out of the way. Move out of the way. Move out of the way. And they're like, no.
I can't let go of her hand or she'll die, okay?
No, I can't let go of her hand.
Also, in like episode 3, he's given a time limit. He's like, you can let go of her hand
15
for
minutes
15 minutes. And you go,
Yeah, that lasts long.
you're like, that'll be interesting. And then 2 episodes later, it's like, you have 2 hours. And you're like, oh. Okay, and then an episode after that, it was like, she can last for like 15 hours. I don't know.
Yeah, she can. You basically can stop holding her hand anytime you want.
Yeah, you're like, you guys don't have to hold hands anymore, right?
The entire
When
time.
I was very serious about it earlier. Yeah, it's cool.
And then we get introduced in this episode. Well, we see him in an earlier episode, but his antagonistic force really comes out in this episode. A character who should have been introduced in episode 2, 3. For his fucking reveal in the next episode. We're introduced to Nagoka and his handshaker partner, Mayumi, who
Professor
is...
Birch.
Mayumi, who is... He looks nothing like Professor Birch.
Yeah, but they're both professors, so they're Professor Elm and Professor Birch.
No, and we're
The other girl doesn't look like Annie Milanakis.
Well, you made a reference. Anyway, we're introduced to Mayumi, who is Koyori's sister, and you're like, oh, Kori has a sister.
These two characters are the redeeming. I've used this word before, but the redeeming factor of the show. And you're right; they should have been introduced episode 2 because then I would have found out what the drive of the anime actually was.
They could have hidden Mayumi. They could. They could have had Nagoka show up as an antagonistic enemy in episode 3, whom they run away from.
Yep.
And have him come back here, and you're like, damn, because then we get to the best episode of the show, which is episode 11.
Oh, yeah.
Second to last one. That's the flashback, right?
That's the flashback.
Yep.
And
containing the quote directly out of Demon King Daimao. What's his name? Professor Birch literally says, I'm going to go kill God.
He does.
He says it. He says
I'm
it.
going to go kill God.
The way that it sets up, his what does he say often too? He's like, before I reach my end. Like it turns. It goes from
end.
Exactly. It goes from like, I'm gonna kill God to before I reach my end. You can see the progression of how he has the resolve that we needed to pull us through this anime. And even if they would have just introduced him in snippets, I would have been fine with it.
Well, we'll talk about this when we go into fixing the show, but Nagoka has an amazing motivation, has a reason why he's a genuinely kind person who did some bad stuff to reach his goal, to do an amazingly kind thing because he's on a time limit now.
He has the same motivation as the main character.
He does.
He's just doing it a different way.
He's doing it a different way.
Right.
And so he would have been an amazing foil the entire way. And we're also introduced in this episode to my favorite CGI animation, which is the 3D ball.
Oh my god.
Basketball. I love them.
The worst sound effect in the whole anime as well.
Give me more basketballs,
it's
please. and it's moving all around the screen.
That doesn't
and they're
sound
different
scary.
Colors. They're different colors. Anybody with epilepsy, please don't watch these next 2 episodes.
Yeah, because for some reason he has the ability to change a color and change put a pattern on something and have it explode.
Right, and then it explodes.
It's like you lose all tension because the balls sound like so relaxing. It's
yeah. Like water droplets.
oh.
That's what the noise
Yeah.
is. It's water droplets. As
You're
like
like,
the balls are
oh.
like hitting the.
And they're like, we have to run. They're gonna get us. And it cuts back to the balls chasing him. You're like, oh, that's nice.
So, so I've said this before that they win because of incompetence, or
Yeah.
they win because power of friendship, and
Right.
that is ridiculous.
Friendship.
It's fucking highlighted in this episode. They jump
yeah.
onto a building that he goes, "You thought you can escape? Bullshit! I filled this place with exploding balls," and you're like, "That's oh my god, he was ready, he was ready!" And then the building explodes, and then they smile at each other, and then they kick his ass, and you're
Yeah,
like,
what?
They were just hit by an explosion.
Because they mesh, Jake.
You
they
haven't even
mesh.
seen my true form. That's what it was. That's
And then
what
this
it was.
is so they lose. We find out Mayumi isn't being controlled by drugs at least anymore.
She's like, I love you.
She's like, it started out that way. That's how he awakened our handshaker power, was that he drugged me and suggested that but in reality
We mesh.
we mesh.
Mesh.
In reality we mesh. And they
I've never rolled my eyes so hard. They almost rolled out of my head.
And so Nagoka and Mayumi don't have the will to fight anymore. Kaori and Tazuna don't have the will to fight anymore. And then the ziggurat disappears, and everyone goes their selfish ways. You find out Nagoka is this amazing character that should have been more focused on, or at least have some sort of development.
Right. My favorite part about some of the lines in this episode are when Mayuri says, "Yeah, but he's just so kind."
Yeah.
Yeah, but weren't you drugged?
Well,
Wasn't he
no,
drugging you
No,
and forcing you to murder people?
no, that was
Or even
Yeah, but he's
no,
kind.
it's
though.
literally
even
Makihara.
Makihara. Makihara says that same exact thing. He says, "I could be mad at you, but you're just too kind."
Well, no,
What?
it starts out.
Such a good guy.
That's where like it's so heavily hits you with he drugs her, that you're supposed to think, oh, he's this awful person, like you guys are saying, like, oh, he's this awful person, he drugged her, because Makihara's like, that was my idea, was to drug them into becoming handshakers.
That's our home.
And then Mayumi dispels that thing. Mayumi goes, no, like, yeah, he drugged me to awaken the handshaker capability, but it has been my choice to fight with him. Like,
This is consensual.
like
Yeah.
no, like he drugged me one time, and that was to save my life. Other than that, I have been doing
That's legal.
I have been doing this with him. I've been doing this with him on my own, and so that's the misdirect, is that everyone thinks like, oh, she's under drugs right now, and it's like, no, she hasn't been on drugs except for that initial. Think of it in a way if Sensei injected Kaori with some sort of drug to make the first person that touched her
Right.
hand fall in love with her, and that was it.
Surprise,
So,
How about the reoccurring plot point that Mayuri doesn't speak? And she finally speaks, and Nagora goes,
you talk?
she speaks!
And then
you
they
can talk!
They address that in episode 12, where he goes,
Yeah, oh yeah,
where
right at the end,
where
end.
he goes like, she's like, well, that's why I've never talked, was because you always did what I wanted. I always agreed. That's why I never talked.
But you could say something.
He's
at
like,
least.
maybe
You were always being, what did she say? She's like, you were always being so honest, or something like that. Like,
he tells her she's always being you're being honest.
oh, that's what it is.
And she goes, I always was. That's how come I've never spoke.
Yeah,
There it
well,
is.
you could have given me
Truth
like
comes
a
out.
yes or no every once in a while.
So you're telling me all those times I spoke for you when I was like, hey, Miori, what do you want for dinner? And she's like, I don't know. How about we have some chicken katsu? All right, Naomi. And you just thought that was weird? You just thought I was
Yeah.
doing that for fun?
She's like, no, I really wanted chicken katsu. So I was like,
really-
well, he's
Hey,
right.
you know,
So
she could
I
be
will
like
not talk.
She could be like Sayori and actually have a cell phone that she could text.
Koyomi never does that. Koyomi never texts something down and shows somebody it. She always she just continues to
I
nod
know.
her head. Until, I mentioned this. Kayumi starts talking after fight with Idol Girl, and she becomes so much more unlikable.
Oh yeah,
because
I definitely liked her character when she was
Together we'll win.
It's like, oh, shut up.
Simple nods and acknowledging sounds.
Because we have each other, and I'm like, oh my god, shut up.
Double sword attack.
And then we get to the end of the show where Nagoka.
So where are they now?
Well, yeah, where Nagoka and Mayumi are still handshakers, and they still have their plan to go see God. Nagoka's is to save Kayumi and Mayumi, and Mayumi is clearly to save Nagoka. Mm-hmm. Like that they both have separate wishes, and you're like, I wonder what's going to happen there. And then, no, let's go back to slice of life time.
Right.
We got to get to
where are they now?
Right.
And then
let's get back to our job.
We see, like DJ says, we get the where are they now. We see all the handshaker couples, including Ray, who's like, go kill that God guy. And you're like, why?
That's my favorite part. That's my favorite part of the ending ending couple of scenes. Is he walks by him and he turns around. He's like, you go kill that God guy.
What about Jesus standing on the building and going like, and then you who will face God.
You who face God. He's got the shitty drunk guy voice again. You who face God. Just kidding. That's literally how it sounds in the dub. Like, he's drunk.
And so
that's hilarious.
We get the end of Handshakers. So Anthony, you really wanted to get into it with Uromanga Sensei, and me and DJ just kept talking over you before we let you go to it. So how about you start us off with how would you fix this? How would you fix this show?
So I had been thinking about how to fix this show since I started watching it, and who was that?
DJ really far away from the mic.
Yeah, DJ was really super far away. Thank you, voice off in the distance. The biggest thing, I kept going back to the art style, and I realized that in order to fix this anime, we needed to keep the art style, and we needed to keep literally every aspect of the camera, and I'm dead serious.
Anthony, how to fix an anime. Keep it the same. Keep this failing anime the same.
I already disagree. There's no way keeping that camera can be a good thing.
No way keeping that camera is a good idea.
That's the biggest thing. Because if you were to change the art style and the camera, it would be 100% a completely different anime. And
so much better.
It would be 100% a different anime. You want to know how you save this fucking anime? You get a different fucking animator. That's how you save the anime. Because then it actually might could have sat through and watched. I think my biggest complaint about the whole anime itself is that it's, like I have mentioned about 1,000 times, and I didn't want to keep saying it, I just felt that it was super busy. I think that you toned down literally almost everything as far as...
You just said you can't change the camera angles, bitch. You can't have it both ways.
No.
You can't have your cake and eat it too, Anthony.
If we're going to change the animator, that's the biggest thing, is we change the animator, we tone down all of those scenes, we make them less busy. One of the biggest complaints that I had too was that your characters moving through background and foreground, they're not moving contingently with the scene itself. They're moving separately. So first and foremost, you don't draw these 3D scenes and put these characters or Photoshop them into this. Like, that ruined the entire flow of the anime. And quite frankly, I felt like it just took away from all of these other scenes that were supposed to be heartfelt or supposed to get me on the edge of my seat or anything like that. I think that we've already touched on this, but putting Nagora and Miormi into episode 2, that would have been absolutely perfect. I think that going into what ultimately drives these characters, first off, Tazuna, he loses a sister. We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, because it's so forgettable. Until Nagoka shows up. It's so I forgot his sister died until Nagoka goes,
seriously?
Hey, Kaori is not your sister.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that, like, this is the biggest thing. Like, I think that again, I hate to refer back to Uromanga Sensei, but these are characters that I absolutely could not relate to. I did not feel sorry for them. I did not feel happy for them. I didn't feel any emotion for these characters. So therefore, I need something else. I need something more for each of these characters. I need more drive. We brought this up quite a few times now, and ultimately changing the overall tournament type of style. Introduce this God guy right now.
No,
It's me,
that'd be,
God.
Exactly.
oh my god, I'm
Dead serious.
Your fixes for this
Like
are,
Deus?
I am over. You can introduce
Like
Deus
Deus?
early. Deus works, but you're gonna Deus works because he's this omnipotent being who's controlling the tournament. It sounds like God in Handshakers is just this figure that they all
like a
aspire
myth.
to be. Yeah, he's not controlling the tournament. Or else why would he control it? So it's like, okay, you kill 8 Handshakers, you get a shot at me. You get a shot at the champ. You get a
It would
shot at
ruin the myth part of it. They're like, we don't even know if it's real thing.
You put a bow
And
on top of
with
shit.
Deus-
it's just gonna
With
be
Deus,
shit.
he's like, no, I'm a real guy. Look at me, I'm right here.
I'm running
Yeah.
the tournament.
Exactly, and honestly, that's how I feel. That is honestly the best way to go about it. Because why else be a handshaker? Why else try to assume this position to just try and fight God? Okay, we're back
They-
at Demon King Diamond.
I like
They
the
don't-
unsureness though. They don't know if it's a real thing.
And none of them aspire to be handshakers. They become handshakers because their relationship with each other is so strong. And then
They become hand jobbers because they mesh so well.
they hit this new evolution, and that's kind of like,
Oh, that was the worst line ever.
yeah, this is the
Maybe
next
it's a new evolution of humankind.
So they hit this new evolution by having this really strong connection, and then they're thrown into handshaker fuck all, and that's the appeal to the storyline of episode 11 is that Kaori and
Yeah.
Mayumi are born into this world, and so people are like, easy target, they're children. And
Did you just come up with the title for the next arc of the anime?
what, easy target?
No, Handshakers fuck all.
Handshakers fuck all.
Handshakers : fuck all.
Yeah, that's the season 2.
That's season 2.
It's
I
like,
wouldn't watch it.
people don't become handshakers because they want to take a shot at God. They become handshakers, and then
Shut it,
they become handshakers, and they're like, oh, okay, we got to fight God now, like, because we want our wish. And so that's the appeal of becoming a handshaker, is you get a fucking wish. Why collect all 7 Dragon Balls? It seems like they only cause trouble.
You gotta have some sort of pie in the sky, and that's the biggest representation that's
I hope so. Yeah,
you know. What's the drive? What's the drive of becoming a handshaker? Ultimately, it's just not there. This anime
It's to save
is very
Kiori's
tough.
life. Like, I hate this anime, Anthony, but you're making me defend it.
I hate that.
You're making me
I
defend
hate that.
it.
I hate that.
That's true. A couple of the characters have good wishes. Most of them don't, but some of them do. I think you take what you got going good in this anime, like, which the fighting is cool, and the weapon concepts are cool, and the whole premise is all right. You fight each other, you get a wish. You're trying to save this girl's life, and you're slowly, becoming more and more close to her, so you care more and more to save her life. You got a good villain. You meet the guy who has the same motivation as you, but he's doing it in a different way. And you kind of got to go through each other to get what you want. So, you got all that. You take all that, keep that all the same, and then, just change everything else. Just change it all. Change the rest and make it better. Just change everything and make it good, and then it'll be a good anime.
My changes would be stop moving the camera so much. You can have the weird art style. You can have the CGI weapons. But mother of God, stop moving that camera. Stop moving that camera so I can see what's happening. So I can understand how people are moving. Because that moving camera was like, I can't tell if this person's running towards you, away from you, backwards, upside down, swimming. I can't tell because the camera is spinning around.
They'd have to clean up the art style, rewrite the dialogue, stop moving the camera.
Absolutely change the dialogue.
Put more plot into where the enemies are.
Yeah, I'm still doing my fix, yo.
Okay, go.
Because you're saying all the stuff I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I was just clean up the dialogue. It's clunky. Fix the flow. Make every episode linear. I don't care about the flashback style only works if something happens in that flashback that is important to the plot now. So don't have flashbacks. That's useless. Don't do flashbacks. Have a linear story. Have less filler episodes. You can have one. You can have 6 episodes of heavy plot, and then you can have a downtime. 3 chefs somehow break their arm, and
I
Kiori has
love
to
a
cook.
funny fan service episode if it's one episode. I love it.
You can, give me that one episode of funny fan service, and then get on with the plot. And then, so you do that. You introduce Nagoka episode 2 or episode 3. You introduce him, they escape from him. He constantly comes up. You're like, wow, I hate this guy. Wow, he drugs her sister. Oh my god, this guy's the fucking worst. Wow, I fuck. Oh my god, no.
Darth Vader.
Episode 11 happened. Oh my god, oh my god, Nagoka, your character, you're so deep. I actually care about you now instead of you being the villain.
You can do that with all the villains in a smaller way.
Yeah, you can do that with every single villain. You can make every villain compelling. Because every villain in this show is not a bad person. They are just after something they want. And you can...
There's no total evil asshole.
Yeah, you can make each of those characters that way. You can make a connection with each character to, during the fight, you know they're going to lose, and part of you doesn't want them to lose. That is something that they should have aimed for here. This show could have been good instead of being like when I say good, like the way I said it, imagine that. Like good instead of good, or it's good. This show could have been that. But no, the show is I don't want to watch that show. I don't want to watch that show again.
It was hot garbage. Hot garbage, and
I agree with Jake. I think that's the best way to fix it.
So that's the way I would. You guys have anything else you want to say in the spoiler section?
Which is almost not fixing it. You're almost instead of fixing, you're just changing it entirely.
You're changing the show. I mean, I'll let you keep the stupid idea of handshakers. I'll let you keep the stupid name. I'll let you keep the ziggurat. I'll let you keep the Nimrod, because Nimrod's an insult. You fucking Westaboo director. When people call someone a Nimrod, they're calling them an insult. Not
we didn't even
call
talk
the weapons
about that.
Nimrods.
We didn't even talk about that. Why Nimrods? Why Nimrods?
That's his jackass.
That's his dildo butt. And
his poopy head hasn't awakened yet.
His poopy head. Yeah, let's just change the character's main name. Okay, change the character's main name to Poop Boy, and everything's more hilarious.
Okay. Also, something I guess I didn't bring up. Why does Kaori turn into a magical girl when her Nimrod shows up?
Yeah,
she is the one called Sailor Moon, Jake.
She's got a little fairy. She got a little fairy outfit, and also, why does Tasuna's hair
turn white?
White?
Because I was like, oh, it's because Kaori.
Super Saiyan.
Because I was like,
he's going Super Saiyan.
Well, I thought it was because Kaori was born in the ziggurat, so you're like, oh, that's why her hair's white. And it's like, no, Kaori and Mayumi's hair is white because their mom's hair is white. So it makes no sense.
Genetics, you idiot.
It makes no sense on why his hair turns white. And they don't
explain. Gosh. Yeah, that part. This show was so bad, and if you have stuck with us this long, thank you.
No,
because watch it; it's great.
It was garbage.
Watch the whole thing.
I'm ready to do our rating.
All right, so we're gonna. Anybody have anything they want to get off their chest, and that is spoiler before we go into our rating?
Hold on, let me see if I got anything in my notes here.
Oh, in my notes and my final thoughts is I like the weapon design, Kaori, Shizuru, Nagoka, and the fight choreography. I hated everything else.
Like Lily and her boobs.
And
keep those.
Chains and whips.
Keep those. Keep those. Keep all the boobs. Add more boobs.
No, I'm pretty excited to talk about Killing Bites. So
all right, let's go. So
I don't want to.
Spoilers are going to end. Let's do it now. Okay, so spoiler-free final thoughts and ratings. For those of you who haven't heard our first podcast, our rating system is as such. We have trash, which we find the anime to have no redeeming feature, really. No one should really watch it. The hate is really well-deserved. We have the middle option, the recycling bin, where maybe we did like it a little bit, maybe other people might like this. There is an audience for the show. If you have a general interest in watching it, go ahead. If you don't have a general interest at all, don't bother with it. And then we have a find, and this is a show that we have deemed like great. Like the hate for the show wasn't warranted. You should watch this. Put it on your plan to watch list. So Anthony, I know you've been wanting to say this since the podcast started. How about you give us our first final thoughts and our first rating?
Okay. My final thoughts on this anime are that this show had a decent idea, and it wanted to be a very... I mean, you can tell that in its own right, it wanted to set itself apart by using a different style of art, a different style as far as, summon is concerned, summoning your weapon and everything else like that, but they fail miserably. They're leaps and bounds so far behind that this show is hard for me to recommend, even on a joke. This show is a hot pile of steaming trash. I would keep it in the dumpster. I would close the lid. I'm taking it to the dump myself, and I'm never talking about it ever again. That's it.
Sounds like my Saturday night.
All right. DJ, do you want to take the next one?
Yeah. It's got some stuff that can be good. If you changed a lot, and I mean a lot of the stuff, you could have an okay anime here. You're going to have to change characters and how you introduce them, and plot, and pacing, and animation, and dialogue, and the list goes on and on. But I mean, your villains are good. Your conflict is kind of good. It's kind of morally gray. It's pretty good in that situation. But so you fix all the stuff around that, and you've got yourself an okay thing. But in its current state, trash.
All right. For me, the show was so similar to so many other shows, you could almost play a drinking game with its cliches. It's very similar to the show 100 in that sense. The fights, while being well choreographed, lose focus due to the distracting camera angles and constant camera movement. The weapons, for the most part, are pretty cool, and the way they use single gear and sprocket gear was fantastic. The villain is a great foil, but is seriously underdeveloped, and his story is wasted until the end. The visuals of the show were so weird with the 2D characters and the 3D props and the real-life backgrounds. I can tell a lot of work and love went into this show, but with its poor visuals and awkward story pacing and its cliches, it's going in the trash. I might watch a second season if one is made, just to see where they take Nagoka. I want to see I want to see what happens to that character.
I will watch the second season if you
make
me watch the second season for this fucking podcast.
Yeah. The biggest thing, that I forgot to list too, was that, Jake, you have kind of turned me
on. Wink, wink.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Oh, no.
You've definitely gotten me into using the rule of 3 for animes, right?
Yeah.
Within the first 3 episodes, if an anime is able to hook me within the first 3 episodes, then I'll continue watching, and I didn't want to keep watching after episode 1.
Episode 3 of the show is a filler arc.
Yep.
Why would I? It's there's bad choices in this show, and that is why all 3 of us put it in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
Kick it to the curb.
All right,
kick it to the curb.
Get that anime out of here.
So let's all forget about handshakers and let's move on to an anime that we enjoy. We forgot to do this last week. We forgot to do this last week, so I'm gonna do it now.
Okay.
Yuyoya Nomoto is an average college student who gets thrown into a world of humans spliced with animal DNA who participate in underground death battles. He is partnered up with Hitomi Uzaki, a high school girl who is spliced with a honey badger, and she doesn't give a fuck. Can he survive in this edgy world filled with furries? Let's continue to dig through killing bites. All right,
Dude,
Oh
Honey
my
Badger don't
God.
give a fuck.
Honey
Thank
Ba-
God.
Spoiler
Thank God.
spoiler section
Oh my
is going
God.
to start now. Holy shit!
Holy
Episode 4 and
shit.
5 were good.
Holy shit. Oh my gosh. You know, last week when I
A
said
little
that I was
rapey.
afraid. No way. No way. That was your level of rapey, and I think that we were dancing on the line of being okay.
When his tail goes into her mouth, I
Little
went,
rapey.
Anthony's gonna hate this. Anthony's gonna hate this. Anthony's gonna hate this.
I was fine
I
with
got
it.
so mad. I got so mad. But at that point in time, I was so invested. Last episode, I said that I was worried about this anime taking a turn for the absolute worst, and I can honestly say I'm pretty excited for these next couple of episodes.
I never
I'm
said that. I always had
I'm
faith.
Me
I'm
too.
so stoked.
I've never lost faith in
Okay,
Hitomi
I will
and
admit,
best
I
girl
will-
Arusa, who is a
Oh
cheetah.
my god!
Oh
No,
my
Oh
best
my
girl is not her. Best girl is
Hitomi-
fucking blonde with
Hitomi.
big boobs.
Yeah, Hitomi hands down. Hitomi hands down.
Wow.
I find
Wow.
it. I mean, okay. Do you want to do episode 4 and
Yeah,
then we'll do
look-
episode 5?
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's talk about episode 4.
I love the protagonist in this anime.
Yes.
Me too. He does such a good job.
He's like, well, I'm a fucking idiot, so we just decided that
I'm gonna
she would
listen to her.
decide.
He like puts his hands up. He puts his hands up. And he's like, "I'm a fucking idiot." So
we call it the unthink strategy.
His face with the unthink strategy is like, like he's so smug about it.
oh yeah, yeah.
Uh,
We call it the unthink
so-
strategy.
So episode
Still
4,
hereditary.
episode 4 opens up with the opening ceremony type deal for the Killing Bites tournament,
That was cool.
and they're all on a boat. They're all fancy dressed, and they're meeting like the other contestants. And
Right.
Hitomi not giving a fuck. Leo shows up, and she goes, "Who are you?" He goes, "I'm Leo." And she's like, "Who? I'm the giant
but
lion.
who's that?
I'm the giant lion."
Yeah.
Oh, I did.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
fought one of those. Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
me, Leo.
You can tell that it struck a nerve. That was not my favorite part. My favorite part is when Tiger is introduced. Now this
Tiger,
badass
Tiger.
motherfucker. Oh my gosh.
I'm
I'm
tired
excited.
of the blatant sexualization of Tiger. How come all the other men transform into full animals, and we still get to see Tiger's perfect face?
You see, I think that this is like, I'm not trying to spoil anything for us ahead of time, but I think that is Tiger's, that's like
Halfway
him.
form?
Yeah, exactly. That's him limiting his form, just like the gorilla kid.
Yeah,
I don't wanna
that's
get there.
episode 5.
That's episode 5,
Let's go to
but-
episode 4 still.
I think that
Curious, George.
I think that isolated translation, not translation, isolated, what do they call it?
Transformation.
Yeah, isolated transformation is something that Cheetah Girl, because I can't think of her name,
Arusa.
Cheetah Girl,
Meow.
Ryuza is Meow Meow keeps bringing up, and that's something that she herself focuses on. So I think that this is going to come up with Tiger. Also, they show his face in Tiger form in the main opening sequence too. So
okay.
I feel like we're going to see more of this. Ultimately, I am just so stoked. I love the bunny girl too. She is honestly.
Her interaction with Rape Snake
Oh my god!
in the bathroom, where she goes help, and there's people out, like his friends are out there, and they go no, she goes, you're horrible people.
What are you? No, she asked them a question. The way that they sub that is that, are you guys horrible people? Like question, like with a question mark. She poses that as a question.
Rape snake.
It's his name. If we're
That's
giving
what
him-
he does.
If we're giving him nicknames,
That's what he does.
His name is
Bunny
Rape
girl,
Snake.
meow meow, meow meow, bunny girl, and honey badger don't care. That's funny.
And then
He's pretty rapey, that guy.
and then we're introduced to the 4 teams, which is we got Bear, Glasses guy from like the 3rd episode,
Curious, George.
Curious George in the 5th, and Mysterious Hooded Figure on one team.
Crocodile Dundee.
Right.
And then the other team is Lizards, which
Yeah.
is Rape Snake, Crocodile Dundee, and Geico.
Geico. You can say. Did you know that you could save 15% or more?
We
shit,
have
she just-
then we have Cat Team, which is Meow Meow, Frosted Flakes, and
How about Tony the Tiger?
Tony the
Can we
Tiger.
just do that?
Tony the Tiger, and Blonde MILF, who are on a team.
Who is a mystery? All we know is that
she's got to be some sort of cat. She's got to be some sort of cat.
They're all
yeah.
And then we have our hero team, which is Hitomi, Bunny Girl, and Fat Wolverine.
who is not a Wolverine.
not a Wolverine.
Hey, that's episode 5. I want to get to that because this entire time I'm like,
So cool.
All right, Honey Badger, Wolverine. All right, talk about the baddest, evilest team of all time. Fucking nope.
Way more badass than a Wolverine, though.
The one animal that kills more people than a fucking shark.
Do not go to Africa. Do not go to Africa because it's not safe. It ain't safe.
I love the way the tournament is. The players are in the tournament as well. I love that they control their pieces.
Right. At first, I was a little skeptical. I said, "This, I want to see how this works," because I just wasn't. I was like, "Huh, kind of chess piecey." No, it worked out awesome. That was cool. That was cool.
The no think strategy. I love that he's sitting next to like the woman that told him to quit because her faces towards him are
the
just
cold
like,
eyes?
I hate you.
Yeah,
I hate
disgrace the killing bites again, and I will end your life.
That's my favorite face. That's the what do they call that face in Attack on Titan? The drill sergeant when he uses that face, like.
What's happening in here?
Heard you guys talking in here. What's going on?
That's her face. I loved that. I think my only complaint was that they made the glasses guy for the leader of the one team and Shino. They made him look really close and really similar.
What you're talking about, yeah.
To
The
where
fucking businessmen, they all look this fucking same.
Yeah.
The business guy with the glasses. Tiger's financier.
There's old man business guy, and then
There's young
Shino.
and then there's
fangirl and angry girl and our dude, and then everybody else looks the same. I don't care.
Yeah, they clearly didn't put time into designing those other characters.
Oh yeah. Businessman handshakers.
There's the handshaker and the two girls.
The episode ends with Bear fighting Hitomi, and
which is perfect.
And they fucking build him up, and he's like, I know how to fight her, and then she takes him out and she fucking slashes.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
oh,
and then and I forgot that he hits her one time.
Yeah. I liked how they brought that up, though. I like how they brought that up.
And really quick, can one of you guys tell me what Killing Bites is?
It's where the one with the sharper fangs wins.
Yes, that's what Killing Bites is. All right, good. I'm glad someone
Just in case you haven't forgotten.
That's what Killing Bites is.
That's what Killing Bites is.
All right, so
you know the one with the sharper fangs wins.
Yeah,
so
the ones with the sharper fangs.
Let's move on to our the last episode that we saw, which was episode 5. Which
Rape Snake's Revenge.
Down. Rape Snake's Revenge. Crocodile Dundee and Curious George appear, and Fat Wolverine turns out to be
a fucking
hippopotamus.
A fucking hippopotamus.
And they're about to square the fuck up.
They are.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
I think my prediction for episode 6 are that Hitomi kills Gecko Lady.
Hitomi's not even fighting Gecko. Oh, Gecko Lady. Arusa's fighting
she
Gecko
will.
Lady. You think
she
she's
will?
I
Cheetah
think
she will. Oh yeah.
I think Cheetah takes out Gecko.
After she rips open Sneaky Snake's or whatever we call
Snake.
it, rape Snake's throat with her mouth. I'm predicting that. That's a play-by-play right there.
She's gonna all hot and covered in blood.
Oh yeah.
So this episode we got into two big battles, which involved one involving Tiger, our hippo boy, Crocodile Dundee, and Curious George, who both Curious George gets taken out in like a second, and then Crocodile Dundee like fakes us out. Oh, I'm dead, and then he's like, no, kidding,
just kidding, I'm a crocodile.
And he
bites
him.
Crocodile.
Dude, that was brutal because he bites Tiger's leg, and then you see him break it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's cool. And then Tiger.
The strategy in that too.
Yeah,
that was something that ultimately I didn't see coming. That was cool.
You know what fucks up crocodiles?
Fucking hippopotamuses.
I hope the random National Geographic cuts never stop. because
Me either. Oh my god,
because
I
I'm
love
like,
every single
I'm
second.
sitting there, I'm going why is she sticking to her? Like, why is it? And it's like, a gecko can hold on and stick to things that are 20 times its like weight, and you're like, that's
Oh.
fucking cool. And
I
what
was
a
hoping she
creative
would
way to
take
use a
her sticky
gecko.
hand
Oh,
and
yeah.
slap
Oh,
her
yeah.
on the shirt and then rip her fucking shirt off.
I'm like, what a creative way to use a gecko.
A man can dream. I've read Ricky Tikki Tavi, bitch. I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Rape snake's going down.
Everyone's seen the fucking Honey Badger Don't Care video. Honey Badger
Oh,
kills
yeah.
a snake.
He's gonna bite the shit out of her, and she's gonna
He's
just
gonna bite the shit
cut
out
the
of her.
shit out of him and not care.
She's
She don't give a fuck.
what? Okay, the fucking awesome delivery by Snake's voice actor, by the way, because he's like, now, while she's fighting Honey Badger, I can go ahead and focus on Cheetah. Where'd she go?
Cheetah, where'd she go?
And then he gets slashed in the face. He's like, my eye.
No, my dreams, man.
No, my dream.
And then this is where I love every girl in Killing Bites, because Cheetah is like, I'll fight Gecko, and Hitomi goes, actually, I was fighting. She goes, shut up, I'll kill you. And Hitomi's like, all right, fine then, bitch. Because
We're not gonna talk about when he sticks his tail in her mouth.
Oh,
and
yeah,
squeezes her tight.
Oh
because
yeah,
the Gecko lures Cheetah into a trap where Snake then sneaks up on her and shoves his tail in her mouth.
right. And
And it gets a little rapey. It gets
Right.
a little
It's not-
hentai
no,
for a second
in
there.
episode 4.
Yeah, even he clearly raped that girl.
Oh yeah.
In episode 5,
Wait, the bunny?
yeah, he rapes that
No,
stewardess.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
stewardess,
yeah.
Who's also dressed like a
That
bunny.
bunny.
By the
No, in episode 5, he props Cheetah up, and he's like, yeah, and he starts touching her, and you're
It's like, this is a nice view. That's what he says. He says that.
It's
The-
for a second there. You're like, "Fuck, how far is this gonna go?"
and adding on to why Yuya is an amazing protagonist, he moves her there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
He goes, Tommy's like, you moved me here without my permission. Good, because I wanted to fight. And he goes,
yeah.
And he goes, well, I did it because, she knows Arusa, and, I think Hitomi was going to get bored.
yeah. She looked bored standing there. That's when the girl goes. That's when the girl goes. If you
She
disgrace
turns
the
to- yeah.
sanctity of Killing Bites one more time, I'll end your life.
That's my favorite scene. If I could get a cutout of that, I would. Oh, I'm gonna set that as my background. I love that. I love that
There
scene.
you go.
so
When someone comments that, oh, Killing Bites isn't that good, you disgrace the sanctity of Killing Bites one more time, I'll end you.
Like all these, you gotta imagine all these other financiers are sitting around there.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is their livelihood. This is like
yeah,
their
yeah.
whole thing. And he's there, and he's like, "Well, I was just thinking, like,
He's
maybe...
like spinning his chair. He's like spinning in his chair.
Well, I like...
Well, I was
Sir,
just
where
thinking,
will
like,
you move?
maybe,
Well,
you
I was
know.
gonna ask my chick where she wanted to move. So like, we could do that."
Well,
Like,
Cheeto,
oh my God.
Cheeto picks up on it. That's the best part. Is Cheeto picks up on it. And he's like, "Oh my god, this guy's such a retard."
Yeah.
But this is perfect.
episode 4, in episode 4, he's looking at, he plays it off so well, where he goes, I think I'm a mover, you have to give us an actual thing, 1524. And everyone's like, huh? He knew the perfect spot. And then everyone looks up at the camera, and you see her going like, yeah.
They go, "Oh, he's an idiot."
Oh,
Yeah.
he's-
Oh, this guy's an absolute.
Called the unthink strategy.
He's not trying. My favorite part about the protagonist is that he's not trying to be somebody else. He's just himself,
Again.
and I love that so much.
a character I hate, a character that almost ruined a show for me, is Shiro in Fate Stay Night.
Mhm.
And this guy is Shiro if Shiro had a fucking brain. Where he's like,
Oh yeah,
he's like, I'm weak.
Yeah.
I better stay out of the way. Yeah,
I
I'm gonna
am
do
going
that.
to
Yep.
run.
And
Like,
he's like, well, like I said, I still love how he doesn't try to protect Bunny
Yeah.
Girl in
Oh,
that
yeah,
third
yeah,
episode. He's
yeah.
just like, no.
Oh, yeah.
fucking run.
yeah.
He's like, fucking
Nope.
run, bitch.
He's like, "Oh shit, fine by me. All right,
Go ahead and run.
Yeah. Oh fuck, fine by me. All right, go ahead. I'm getting in your way here.
He's
I'm
like,
not gonna.
I'm about to get out of crutches. I don't want to fucking be put back in these, man.
Oh, it was so perfect. Episode 5. I'm looking forward to episode 6. Gonna see the beatdown. Gonna see the hippopotamus beatdown.
Dude, I'm predicting I'm predicting Fragile Alliance. Hippo is going to somehow rip tiger out of Crocodile
Alligator.
Dindy's
Yeah.
mouth and
Yeah.
run.
Fuck up that crocodile and run him there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and run
Oh, yeah.
tiger to
Oh,
where
yeah.
he has to
Yeah.
go before he explodes.
And the National Geographic is going to pop up. Hippopotamuses trample down whatever terrain.
It's gonna show it's gonna show a picture of like a crocodile jumping out to grab a hippopotamus and it just fucking destroying it.
A hippopotamus kills more people than sharks, dogs, and coconuts combined.
Oh, I hope.
I wanted to ask, what do you think the most OP what is it? Therianthrope would be?
Yeah.
Oh, the
Ooh.
most animal OP.
Most OP.
Most OP. I know that we're probably going to see a rhinoceros man. That's probably going to be pretty badass.
Assuming that they can't be insects. Because if they could be insects, I'd say an ant.
An ant would be
Very
good.
true.
A
Yeah.
tarantula.
Yeah, because
Ooh, please, Spider Girl. Oh.
No.
Well, dude,
I'm
this is the
hoping no
spin-off
insects.
of Monster Musume. Killing
If they
Bites
can be
Musume.
insects,
Yeah.
please, Spider Girl.
Let's see. If it had to be
If it's
an
a
animal,
spider, it's got to be a girl, right?
Oh yeah, you can't do.
I have
Spider,
one
just
in
be
mind that's gonna trump both of yours. So
DJ's like, I'm fucking ready.
I'm
he's
fucking
like, I
ready.
thought about this all day.
yeah,
I fought Nair Gigante and I thought, hey, you know, it'd be a cool monster, a cool half animal to be. I
the
got it.
gigante lady.
I've been thinking. I thought of it during the episode, and then I've been thinking about it ever since.
Huh? It has to be an animal. Maybe a. I was gonna say mole because they can dig and you can like hollow out stuff and so people like
Yeah.
fall.
Then what would you do?
And then
Punch 'em?
You nuzzle them to death like a mole.
yeah.
You smother them.
An opossum. An opossum.
Because they're scavengers and like to play dead.
That's the best part.
We already have a honey
You can't
badger,
ki-
which is
you can't
pretty
kill
cool.
you can't kill what you already think is dead. How about that?
He just plays dead every time, and everyone walks away from him.
I got him. Did I? I got him.
We haven't seen a shark.
We haven't seen any
Aquatic,
fish,
yeah,
any aquatic
yeah.
ones. We got crocodile, which is our closest one.
Yeah,
I think we'll probably see a shark dude, the guy with
I've
a shark head.
I've seen
Street
One
Sharks?
Punch Man.
Yeah, like bite
Ugh.
people. There's got to be a guy with a shark head. My OP Therianthrope, blue whale.
Blue whale, because he'd just be a giant.
He's
Just-
using his slam attack. He defeated the enemy.
He sunk the island. Done.
Oh yeah. That's hilarious.
He's running at her. Oh, and he used his slam attack again.
I want to see a platypus just for the sake of them animating a half human, half platypus.
Oh,
It's like, are you gonna slash a blue whale? Fuck, blue whale don't carry. He's fucking huge.
I like the because originally something that I saw at least online is that people were giving the show flack because the girls weren't transforming all the way, and in this episode we get Curious George, Tiger, and Rape Snake all don't fully transform,
Right.
and so that's
Well,
what
neither does. I mean, Gecko. Well, no.
I was gonna say. Gecko's a
it's those
girl.
guys,
So.
yeah, Gecko's a girl.
We know why the girls don't transform.
Yeah, we
okay?
know why the girls don't transform. It's because that'd be too
Then
much.
what would we look at?
Flashback to boobs in episode 2.
Oh,
That's-
I was bummed there wasn't any more boobs.
I'm wondering if they're lulling us in a false sense of like, okay, well, I
Next
guess
time they do a rape
Boob
scene, they're gonna go all
security.
the way.
we're gonna be like, oh, okay, I guess there's no more boobs, and then boom,
more.
vag, and you're like, what?
No more.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
gonna go.
God.
You
Please
pull
don't.
Yuya in
Please
episode
don't.
2.
No.
Maybe I was thinking Rape Snake was gonna rip her top off.
Me too.
I thought so too, but then they're high school age girls.
We already went over this.
Anthony, I'd like
Welcome
to introduce you
to
to an
Japan.
anime that doesn't give a fuck about high school age girls showing their boobs in High School DxD or High School of the Dead. All
Why
right.
did you? I
And
stopped
they-
watching that episode. I stopped watching.
By the
It's
way,
fan service out of control.
By the way, Anthony, to plug a different channel here, Mother's Basement did a video called "Why High School of the Dead is good" or whatever. You should watch that show you should watch that video because High School of the Dead is good. You stopped after one attempted rape scene. That happens.
It
That
gets
happens
better.
stuff.
It gets
No,
good until it
that does
turns
not
completely
just
into a fan
happen.
service show.
Anthony, zombie apocalypse. It's happened in Walking Dead. It's happened in
very
Game
true.
of Thrones. It's happened in Killing Bites. There are fucking evil people out there who can't handle a crisis well.
I believe it's
True,
episode
true.
7. High School of the Dead is good until episode 7, I believe. Because there's a point where it just turns into a fan service show, and it's not really about zombies anymore.
It's kind of after the episode that Psycho gets a real sword, because that episode's great. And then after that episode, it's like, oh.
They go into the house, and it's like she's in a fucking apron and nothing else,
Yeah.
and then that's it. That's
No,
the show.
No, when they get
No, it's
into-
good though. I would watch it, Anthony. It's a good show.
I'll think about it.
It's a lot of fan service.
It's
That's
a
why
lot
it's
of fan
good.
service.
I'll think about it.
All right.
Yeah, but it's just Japan. They don't care about high school. It's Japan. They
And
don't care.
I'm excited to keep watching.
High school,
Killing
schmy
Bites.
school. That's what Japan says.
Any,
That's what I'm focused.
So we have some predictions for Killing Bites. And here we go. Let's do a game. We have the hooded figure who's hyped up by Leo and that girl. What do you guys think he is?
The blonde?
No, the hooded guy who was on Bear
What did
and
they-
Curious George's team.
Yeah, do you remember what his name was?
I can't remember.
I thought that was the crocodile. No, the crocodile's with the lizards.
Yeah, crocodiles with lizards.
No, because when they're in the limo, they're speaking to the president.
He's
No,
a
he's
zebra.
got a six pack. He's got a six pack, and
You
he's got
say
to
a
fit
zebra
in.
won't have a six pack?
And he's got to fit in with.
Well,
Who else is
that team doesn't have like a theme because
don't have a
it's
theme.
Right.
it's a gorilla and a bear. So
lions,
Zebra.
tigers, and no, it's lions, bears, and
gorilla.
gorilla.
Lions, gorillas, and bears. Oh my! He's
I
a
tried.
zebra.
I tried.
You're
No
thinking
way.
zebra.
Yep.
I'm-
I'm zebra.
I'm thinking elephant.
Ooh,
think so?
elephant would be tough to beat.
I'm thinking
Well, that-
rhinoceros, man.
That would
This
have the
is probably
same
the best.
power levels status as blue whale almost. So
Yeah,
How about a giraffe? They never show his face.
fucking neck
he-
the
he's-
shit out of
Torso, torso down.
his neck. he's like reverse giraffe in Rick and Morty.
Yeah. The reason why I bring this up is because I was watching National Geographic, and you learned that most lions are killed by giraffes kicking them in the chest. So,
Have you ever seen Giraffe's neck fight? That would be a good.
oh,
Him slapping people with his neck and shit.
All right, so we got
No,
giraffe,
he's a zebra for sure.
zebra.
His attack's gonna be called Zebra Rush.
Do you? I thought of something as we were talking about Zebra Rush, but I can't remember.
Oh yeah. Always brings back memories.
always brings back good memories.
I can't remember.
Was it zebra stripe gum? Is that what you thought of?
Fruity.
Um,
No,
For about 1 second.
yeah, for about a second, then you're like,
You get
paper.
tattoos though with zebra stripe gum.
I can't remember what I was going to say. Something about.
What's our next anime?
No, hold on. No, the ending sequences of the episodes, we get more of Bird Girl.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Oh yeah.
Those I love those.
She's not a therianthrope.
She's not a therianthrope.
She is a what do they call her? She's a honeybird or something like that?
she's this type of bird that has a connection with a honey badger, like
But
in
she's
nature.
not a therianthrope.
But she's not
Yeah.
a therianthrope. So she's just this weird girl.
That's always the punchline is that
That's
she's
always-
not a therianthrope.
That's the puzzle. Is that she's just like, oh, if she was a therianthrope, her actions would make sense. But
Holy
she's
shit!
not.
This guy's
She's just a weirdo.
hooded figure
No.
guy. He's an eagle. He's an eagle.
You have to hold
He's
her
an
hand.
eagle. Eagle.
He's an eagle.
He might be an
That's what he
eagle.
is.
All right.
Hawk.
He's a
Okay.
peregrine falcon.
So we're gonna
If
go.
he's not a zebra, he's a peregrine falcon.
We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna end our spoiler discussion on Killing Bites. And now, okay, welcome back for those of you who skipped that. And we are going to briefly introduce the next anime. So
For the love of God, please no.
my initial choice was going to be Berserk 2016. But my eyes hurt and I need some fucking rest from bad CGI. So, guys, I changed my mind. DJ said I outdone myself. This morning, DJ told me on Xbox that I've undone myself. And I say, well, DJ, Uromanga Sensei had a score on my anime list of 6.5. Handshakers had a score on my anime list of 5.6.
I've got my hand on my
rated
face
that?
because I'm
Who
worried.
rated that? that
And
high?
this anime has a rating of 5.1. We are watching a show that I have a distinct hatred of because I watched it. And this is a test. Was I affected by a hate train? We're about to find out. Next podcast's anime is King's Game.
King's Game.
I've heard so much about it. I am okay. Okay, King's
Next
Game.
anime is Geely.
Anime is G.
I counter that and say we're gonna watch Geely for
I'd
24 hours.
I'd rather watch fucking King's Game than Geely.
You say that now. I have
Geely's bad. Have you seen that movie?
I have.
It's so bad.
My promise to myself after I watched King's Game as it was airing was I will only watch this 2 other times in my life. 1 for this podcast. 2 for when me and a friend of mine will get drunk and shit on it. Shit on it till it can't be shit on anymore.
Oh, episode 3 drunk cast?
No, it's not. No,
Take shots.
I was talking about watching it with Kobe.
Shot.
Oh,
Shot,
okay,
shot,
okay.
shot,
Shout
shot.
out, Kobe.
The Kobe from Nerd Blaze's Anime Rickaday. Check out their channel.
Right on.
Cool.
All right, guys. So that is our anime podcast for this week. Join us again in 2 weeks where we talk about episodes 6 and 7 of Killing Bites and the entire season of King's Game.
Only one
Ooh.
season.
Ooh.
Yep.
You can
The
get
12
us
episodes
all
of
on our Twitters and tweet at us if you guys are
Tweet me, babe.
watching concurrently. You guys know that we're going to be watching this full season of King's Game. Watch it, listen to it, hate it with us this entire time.
Twit me, baby.
If you guys like what we do here, feel free to leave a comment or subscribe. And
Finger bang that motherfucking like button.
we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.
Hate you all.